They must have got a bit of gold out of there because there's an old mine door there. They normally don't have mine doors on them, you know, but this one must have been quite profitable back in its day. And we'll start checking some of these quartz veins, all these reefs up and around here.
The discovery of the ancient gold mine. It started like any ordinary day in the world of gold mining. Parker Schnabel, the young mining legend known from the hit show Gold Rush, was deep in the wild terrain with his hard-working crew. They had been mining tirelessly, pulling up quartz rock and sifting through dirt in hopes of striking a valuable gold vein. But this time, something was different. Hidden beneath layers of brush and stone, Parker noticed an unusual sight, a wooden door embedded into the rock face. Mine shafts usually don't have proper doors, especially ones that have been abandoned. This was strange, even exciting. Old miners only went to that length when they had found something truly valuable. Parker's instincts kicked in. He gathered his crew and they pried open the door carefully. What they found inside was both shocking and awe-inspiring. Thick veins of gold shimmered under the light of their headlamps, untouched by modern equipment. It was as if the gold had been waiting for someone to return. They were looking at an ancient mine, one long forgotten and likely hidden from history for a reason. But why? As they ventured deeper into the mine, Parker and his crew noticed things that didn't fit the typical story of a historic gold rush site. There were strange tools, metal items that didn't look like they belonged to the 1800s. The carvings on the stone walls weren't in any language they could recognize, almost like warnings. The air grew colder, the deeper they went. A chill crawled down their spines, not just from the temperature, but from an odd sense of being watched. They kept moving forward, following the trail of gold veins, feeling both the thrill of discovery and the weight of something more mysterious. And then they stumbled upon something disturbing, a dead animal, possibly a kangaroo lying near a pile of stone. It wasn't a usual find. It raised more questions than it answered. Was someone or something trying to keep people out? But Parker wasn't someone who turned away easily. With millions of dollars possibly hidden in the mines, he made the call, keep digging. As they mined more, the excitement began to fade and curiosity took over. Why had no one else found this place? Or if they had, why did they leave so much gold untouched? The deeper they dug, the more it felt like they were stepping back in time. Some of the markings seemed ancient. Others looked almost futuristic. It was as if they had entered a hidden layer of the earth that history forgot, or purposefully left behind. The team worked tirelessly, pulling out over 100 grams of gold. In just hours. That kind of haul was rare, even for Parker. But the further they went, the more they felt they were crossing into something unknown. Parker remembered a story his grandfather once told him, how he had struck a massive 42-ounce gold haul only, for the mine to collapse hours later. That warning haunted him now. Gold always comes with a price, and this mine felt like it was holding back more than just treasure. The mystery deepens and the past resurfaces. Despite all signs pointing to danger, Parker's determination grew. As they kept digging, they stumbled upon rock formations that didn't match any known geological charts. That meant this mine wasn't just old, it was ancient and unrecorded. Even more baffling were the tools they found, some far too advanced, for the time period they were supposedly from. That was the moment Parker and his crew realized. This wasn't just a forgotten mine, it was a time capsule. Someone had been there long before modern mining operations, long before anyone knew how to document it, and they had vanished without a trace. It didn't make sense, but there it was. Proof that history might not be what it seems. The deeper they went, the more the mine pushed back. Support beams groaned under the pressure. Dust filled the air. Parts of the tunnel began to collapse. Parker had to make a choice. Continue digging or turn back and report what they had found. Some of the crew argued they should call in archaeologists and historians. They wanted the discovery documented, studied, and preserved. But others, especially the miners who had spent years chasing gold, wanted to keep going. To them, this was the find of a lifetime. And Parker? He was torn. He respected history, but he had also dedicated his life to mining. What if this ancient mine held answers to questions that had puzzled people for generations? Or worse, what if it held secrets that were never meant to be revealed? Still, the decision was made. They would push forward, but with caution. But caution wasn't enough. The mine's supports gave way, and a section of the tunnel collapsed behind them. Now partially sealed inside, they had to decide whether to dig out or dig deeper. They chose the latter, driven by the belief that the biggest discovery still lay ahead. After days of pushing forward, exhausted and sleep-deprived, the team uncovered what appeared to be a hidden chamber. It was sealed by layers of rock as though someone, or something, had gone to great lengths to hide it. When they finally broke through, what they found inside shocked them. It wasn't just more gold, although there was plenty of that. It was a collection of ancient artifacts, tools, scrolls, and stones with markings that no one could identify. The walls were covered in strange drawings, almost like a map, but not one anyone recognized. It was a puzzle, and Parker had only just begun to piece it together. He stood there holding gold in one hand and a mystery in the other, and he realized this was bigger than any mining season or gold total. This was something that could change everything people thought they knew about mining history in North America, or even human history. But should they keep digging? What would they risk to find out more? A legacy of gold, and the final decision. As Parker stood in the heart of that ancient chamber, he faced the biggest decision of his mining career. Take the gold and leave, or continue digging and risk discovering something far more important, but also more dangerous. For the first time, mining didn't feel like a job or a business. It felt like he was part of something much bigger, something timeless. Meanwhile, back at their other sites, his crew continued to run 3 wash plants, Big Red, Roxanne, and the newest addition, Bob. They had been hauling pay dirt non-stop, trying to meet their ambitious 10,000-ounce goal. The team was exhausted, their backs aching, but they kept going, fueled by Parker's dream and the thrill of the find. Each wash plant delivered results. Big Red gave them nearly 59 ounces. Roxanne brought in over 185, and Bob, despite high expectations, only managed about 58 ounces. The numbers were good, but not enough. Parker knew the ancient mine was the real prize. He returned to the chamber often, studying the markings and artifacts, trying to make sense of them. Some symbols matched stories his grandfather had told him. Legends passed down through generations about gold mines cursed by greed. Others were unlike anything he'd seen before. He reached out to experts, sending images and samples anonymously. The feedback he received only deepened the mystery. Some believed the mine might predate known gold rush eras. Others suggested it could be tied to indigenous folklore or even lost civilizations. Parker knew one thing. This was no ordinary discovery, and time was running out. The mine was becoming more unstable by the day. After another minor collapse, the crew held a meeting. Half wanted out, the other half wanted to dig deeper. Parker listened to everyone, his heart torn between adventure and responsibility. Then, with quiet certainty, he made the call. "We finished this." The team pushed forward, working day and night. Every chunk of rock brought them closer to the truth. And then, at the deepest point yet, they struck a final chamber. Inside, it was something none of them could have imagined. Gold, yes, but also a stone chest sealed with a metal clasp that didn't match any known technique. Inside were more artifacts, including what appeared to be a map carved into gold itself. It was breathtaking. And with that, Parker knew they had not just discovered a mine, but a piece of history lost to time. Some legends say that gold has a memory, that it remembers every hand that's tried to steal it. As the crew emerged from the mine, tired and changed, they knew they had become part of a story far greater than they ever imagined. And for Parker Schnabel, the young man who once struggled just to keep a claim, he had now unearthed something legendary, not just in ounces, but in impact. And that's the true gold of the story. The discovery of the ancient gold mine was more than a breakthrough in Parker Schnabel's already illustrious career. It was the kind of revelation that redefines everything one believes about history, ambition, and the hidden truths of the earth. What began as a routine mining day quickly transformed into a once-in-a-lifetime exploration, where gold was only the surface layer of a much deeper mystery. The mine, with its strange architecture, unfamiliar tools, and cryptic carvings, was more than a forgotten relic. It was a message from the past, preserved in stone and silence, waiting for the right person to find it. Parker's journey through the mine wasn't just about extracting gold. It was a descent into something ancient, possibly predating known historical gold rushes, and layered with cultural and geological anomalies that challenged conventional understanding. As they dug deeper, the clues became more baffling, symbols that couldn't be traced to any known language, tools too advanced for the assumed timeline, and a strange feeling that they weren't alone in the darkness. There were no clear answers, only questions stacked upon questions. The deeper the crew went, the more they realized they were walking a line between discovery and danger. Throughout the process, Parker's character truly came into focus, not just as a miner, but as a leader torn between the thirst for gold and a growing sense of responsibility. He was no longer just chasing ounces. He was preserving a piece of history, maybe even something sacred. The emotional weight of that realization pushed him into the role of a guardian rather than a prospector. Each artifact they uncovered, each mysterious chamber they revealed, hinted at civilizations long gone, stories untold, and possibly secrets hidden for good reason. And yet, the team pushed on, bound by the curiosity that drives all true explorers, as the chambers collapsed and the air thickened with dust. Parker and his crew knew the risks were growing. Some wanted to abandon the site and call in archaeologists. Others saw the gleam of gold and couldn't turn away. Parker, standing between both worlds, the historian and the miner, chose to finish what they started. That decision came with sacrifice, both physical and emotional, as the mine pushed back with collapsing tunnels and growing instability. But even so, the reward they found in the final chamber went far beyond gold bars or nuggets. Inside that last chamber lay something breathtaking, a sealed stone chest containing ancient artifacts and a map carved into gold itself. It was a discovery that not only held immeasurable value, but possibly historical significance that stretched far beyond North America. This wasn't just the jackpot miners dream about. It was the kind of find that could rewrite chapters of human history, linking myths and folklore to physical proof, and challenging everything modern science thought it understood about who came before us. When Parker and his crew finally emerged from the mine, they were changed, not just richer in gold, but in perspective. They hadn't just uncovered wealth, they had stepped into a story centuries in the making. Parker, the miner once known for his tireless work ethic and bold risks, had now become the steward of something timeless. His discovery proved that some treasures are more than metal. They're pieces of forgotten civilizations, evidence of lost knowledge, and reminders that the Earth still holds secrets no machine or map can predict. In the end, the ancient gold mine wasn't just about striking. It was about legacy. And Parker Schnabel, through grit, courage, and a willingness to listen to both instinct and history, secured a place not just in mining folklore, but in the larger narrative of human curiosity and discovery. The mine may be closed now, its tunnels sealed for safety, but its story will echo through generations, And as long as there are people like Parker willing to dig a little deeper, the past will never stay buried for long.